Do I have everything I need? What does it matter? The camera's rolling, I guess it doesn't matter if I have everything I need or not. Welcome back. You made it to another one, as did I. That's very important that we're both, you know, staying punctual, staying on top of things, learning how this whole thing works. Thanks for sticking around and trying out another video with me. These first few ones are definitely a little bit more experimental for my sake, of figuring out what it is that I want to do. I'm starting to feel like I have an idea for sure of what I want to do, but I still want to have fun with a few of these to practice and make sure I understand what it is that I'm doing. So thanks for sticking around. If you enjoy my voice or just listening to me talk about nothing for 15 minutes, I'm having fun. I hope that you're having fun too. I'm trying out a new space today. This is my bedroom that I'm filming in today. I feel like the lighting is going to be a little bit better than the last location. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, all these are a little bit more experimental on that end. So with that being said, let's just jump right in, yeah? So today is going to be a little bit similar to last week. You know how we talked about television shows to watch during quarantine or this weird period of time? Well, today is movies to watch during quarantine or this weird period of time. A lot like the last one, I'm not going to go in sequential order. They are ranked 1 to 10, but it's boring to go from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1. No, we're gonna go all over the place because that's more fun. But like, even my roommates don't even know what I'm gonna say today, which is a lot more fun. One of my roommates, Dallas, was talking to me about how she really isn't sure because she's like, I always see you watching TV. I never see you watching movies. But that's because television shows are so much easier to stream while you're doing other things, and like, you can always have something going on. Whereas movies, while you don't have to commit to something as long, it is like few and far between. You can't just sit down and watch 1,000 movies in a row. It just doesn't work that way. But today we're going to talk about movies. Similar to the last one, my rankings of these movies are not in terms of like how good are they or what the quality of them are, but how they affect your time in quarantine and, or at least my own personal experience. We don't all live the same lives, but that's what makes it fun. But ranked in the way that they have affected my own personal quarantine and how they might personally affect yours as well. With that being said, we're gonna hop right on in. And I know that like last time I started closer to the bottom of the list, so this time we're gonna start in the middle of the list, and we're gonna start with the one that's not quite a movie, but is a recorded special. That coming in at number 6 is Bo Burnham's Make Happy tour. I actually got to see Make Happy in real life. It's nice to always go back and relive those moments, and any comedy special is really nice because it makes you laugh. It doesn't have a plot that you necessarily have to follow, so it's nice to be refreshed and just like laugh at something, right? The only reason why I brought it up was because my roommate Anna had never even heard of Bo Burnham before. So ask who you're living with if they've ever heard of Bo Burnham. If you haven't ever heard of Bo Burnham, go watch Make Happy. As soon as that's done, you can then go watch What by Bo Burnham. Both of them are on Netflix. But Bo Burnham is incredibly intelligent. He wrote 8th Grade, if you've ever seen 8th Grade. If you haven't seen 8th Grade, go watch 8th Grade. I believe it's on Amazon Prime right now. 8th Grade isn't on the list, but it's still phenomenal, so definitely check it out. So coming in at number 6 is Bo Burnham's Make Happy. We're gonna pop on up to number 3 next, so we're gonna move on up to one of the higher levels. Coming in at number 3 is I can't say it with a straight face. Coming in at number 3 is Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. I understand that this is one of the prequels. However, it is arguably the best option of the prequels to watch. It is by far nowhere near the best Star Wars in existence, but it is a great thing to watch during quarantine. Specifically because who doesn't love Ewan McGregor? And we can see Ewan McGregor kind of lose it sometimes, at least in my opinion, in this movie. And he really like embodies like the Star Wars dad jokes. And if you can look past the cringy parts of the prequels, then it's nice to like be able to laugh at something. You know, kind of bouncing off the Bo Burnham thing, you gotta have something lighthearted to laugh at because you don't want to sit there being sad during quarantine because things already suck right now, right? Things suck right now. So you might as well have something to laugh at. And Revenge of the Sith does just that. Oftentimes Anna and I will recite it to each other. It's very nice. It's a nice passive time. Going off of things that are sad and a poor choice to watch during quarantine, coming in at number 9 is Call Me By Your Name. We watched Call Me By Your Name at the beginning of quarantine because Anna was like, hey, like I've heard a couple of the songs to the soundtrack before and it sounds really interesting, I'd like to watch it. And I was like, you've never seen Call Me By Your Name? It's a really beautiful movie. It is beautiful. but it's also very sad, just heartbreaking. So we sat down and we watched it, and in combination with the reason why Call Me By Your Name is at number 9 for being sad and not ideal to watch during quarantine is also if your roommate then suddenly creates an obsession with Timothée Chalamet from watching just one of his movies, and then all of a sudden you have Timothée Chalamet things all over your apartment, including a Timothée Chalamet poster which is in your living room. He at least matches the plants and the color scheme of the room fine. She really went from 0 to Timothy in 2.5 seconds, and that's alarming to me, and that's also why it's so low on the list. Timothy's a great actor, don't get me wrong, but she really went from 0 to Timothy so fast, and it was an alarming rate. We're gonna pop back up again. Coming in at number 4 is one that I feel like some people will be surprised I didn't have higher, but once again, it didn't float well with quarantine, and that's my own personal favorite movie of all time, Interstellar. Interstellar's coming in at number 4 just because it's a little bit deep, and sometimes during quarantine you want to keep things as lighthearted as possible so that way you forget about how awful things are, like I've said before. And Interstellar is beautiful, obviously. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but there's a lot to it. I had Anna watch it for the first time. We actually had to do it in a couple of different segments. Granted, it wasn't because we couldn't sit down for that long period of time. There was some other stuff going on that we had to pause it for, that we had to come back and watch it, but regardless, it is a long movie to have to sit down for, and if something else comes up in the middle of it, it is rough to pick it back up again and figure out where things are, especially if you're watching it for the first time. Like, you really have to sit down and totally engross yourself in the experience. If you've got the attention span for it and you really want to sit down and have it, obviously do it. But if you're watching it for the first time and you have other things going on, it's not the right time to be watching it. It's higher because of the quality of it, but it's just a little bit lower because, I don't know, this time period is so weird. It's definitely affected my own personal amount of attention span that I can put into things. So I'm sure that's affected other people's as well. We're gonna pop over to number 7 for a moment. This is a really, really, really great movie, and I'm sure that every single person who is watching this right now has already seen this movie, but if you have not, what are you doing with your life? Coming in at number 7 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. My household was really strange. All of us watched it within 1 week, and we didn't tell each other about we'd all seen it. I think almost all of us, had all of us seen it before? I think Dallas might have been the only one who had never seen it. Don't quote me on that. But we all watched it at separate times within 1 week, and then at one point we were all talking to each other, and one of us was like, oh yeah, I watched Scott Pilgrim the other day, and then another of us was like, oh, so did I, but we never watched it at the same time. It's a nice film to sit down and watch. It's not, you don't gotta take it seriously. It's pretty lighthearted. It's really nice background noise. I did it while taking pictures at 12 a.m. But Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, it's in that middle ground right now because, of the fact that, it's just warm. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just a warm movie to me. It makes me smile. It makes me feel comforted, even though it's about battling exes. It's still, I don't know, it's just nice, you know? We're gonna pop on up to number 2 next. Coming in at number 2 is a musical, and that musical is none other than Hairspray. My sophomore year of high school, I watched on a daily basis. I can't recall, I know much more about what people watch for television than I have about movies. I can't recall if my roommates had seen it yet or not when I started putting it on. They have now because I watched it so many times. It's like home, you know? It's that nice thing to return to. You know all the music, it's fun, you can dance to it, you can scream it at the top of your lungs. If my roommates didn't know it before, they sure do have it all memorized now, so they'll all sing along with me, and it's a real blast, and we can just sit there and we can harmonize together or attempt to harmonize together, but just have fun with it, you know? It has everything to it. It's got great tunes, it's got great dancing, it challenges the status quo. I mean, it really has everything to it, and the movie version of it is pretty dang good. Don't watch the live version of it produced by NBC or whatever, because that version was awful. But don't get me started on those, because it's a whole nother world. Going off of the same area as musicals, coming in at number 8 is another musical, and that musical is Reefer Madness. Reefer Madness is not a well-known musical, but it's known by a few. It was a musical that I was in a few years ago, the last musical I was ever in, actually. So it just kind of has a soft spot in my heart. It was a really fun time to be in, and it's just a really, really, really funny show. I ranked it as low as I have because anytime we've been hanging out and we've just, you know, had a couple of drinks for the night because we're classy ladies, it's my go-to thing to put on. And I don't think anyone has actually watched it all the way through. It's just always just kind of playing in the background. In fact, I was talking to Anna about this the other day, and she said, I don't think I've actually watched it. And I was like, I'll put it on the next time, and you still won't have seen it. Right, because we're doing 2 clips. Is it going? Yes, it is. Okay. We've got 3 more to go through. Coming in at number 5. Yes, number 5 is Back to the Future. If you've got the trend from my last video and parts of this one, you can tell that I really like recommending things to my roommates to watch if they haven't seen it yet. And when Back to the Future got on Netflix, I was just going through seeing what was on because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to watch, as I do sometimes, and I saw that Back to the Future was on there. I was like, no way, Back to the Future is up. And Anna says, what's that? And I said, what's that? You never even heard of it? So we put it on, and I was really nervous that she wouldn't enjoy it because she also Snapchatted one of her friends at one point, and they said, you're not gonna like it. Turns out by the end of the movie, she is now a really big Michael J. Fox fan. So Anna is now a really big Back to the Future fan. It's ranked high because it's a good movie, and it's lighthearted, and it's fun, and Anna liked my recommendation. I feel like that doesn't happen often enough, and I feel like I have decent taste in movies and TV. So I'm very glad that she liked Back to the Future, which is why I ranked it as high as I did. It's a classic. Anna liked it. She had no complaints. She's a really big fan now. It's a win in my book. The time has come. The ultimate moment where we find out what the number 1 ranking is and the number 10 ranking is. That's right. We are down to our final 2. Now this is the only time when I save my number 1 for last. So coming in at number 10 is a movie that I would not recommend anyone watch right now unless you are in a decent mental state and you're ready to sit down and focus. Because Anna and I put this on at one point. We'd already seen it before, and we literally had to stop at 10 minutes in because we realized that we didn't want to suffer at the moment. Which is why number 10 is Uncut Gems. Don't get me wrong, I love Uncut Gems. It's so freaking good. I went and I saw it in the movie theater when it was in my hometown for like 2 days. And it's incredible. I think that the writing is insane, and I can't believe that they actually wrote a script that sounds like the way people speak. Like, that's why it is the way that it is. But if you're already in a really stressful period of time and you don't have any personal control over what's going on, I would not recommend subjecting yourself to Uncut Gems at this period of time. Am I considering getting an NBA jersey for KG because of the NBA bubble happening in Orlando right now? Yes. Is it just so that way whenever I wear it I can stand there and be like, KG! Hey, KG! KG! Check it out! KG! Hey! Absolutely. That is 100% the reason why. Coming in at number 1. Whew. Number 1. I am so thankful for its presence, its gracious return back to Netflix. It was on Netflix and then wasn't, now it's back. Number 1 spot goes to Pride and Prejudice. Ugh. There's something comforting about being embraced by Jane Austen and one of her best works of all times. I love all of her work. But, man, Pride and Prejudice, especially the version that's on Netflix, which is the one with Keira Knightley, it's so beautiful. It really, really, really is. I happened to randomly put it on because I just needed something comforting in that moment. Anna was going to go on a run, and Dallas was going to make dinner, and both of them stopped. I was trying to write someone, and I had to stop because we were just like, embraced in this comfort of Pride and Prejudice. Anna had never seen it before. There's just something comforting sitting there with that. There's something comforting about yelling at Fitzwilliam to show his emotions. And not to take Bingley away from Jane. He's doing it all out of his love for his friends and for Lizzie. But you know what? Dang it, Darcy, if you just talked to people and just paid attention, then you would know. And oh, Lizzie and Darcy are just like perfect for each other. It's just such a good movie. You know, it's beautiful. It's a really, really, really good movie. What's that? We have a bonus one here. That's right, we've got a bonus feature, a bonus addition to this ranking. It's not going above 1 though. No. Today we have a ranking of 1 to 11. Coming in at 11, our dead last on our list, is literally any Disney movie. This one should go completely it doesn't need to be explained, but I'm gonna explain it anyway for anyone who doesn't have a knowledge of what's happened. Any Disney movie is rated at 11 right now because there's too much emotional attachment to it. It makes us all too sad. Granted, it from now, I would say things are a little bit better, so I would allow any Disney movie at this point. But early on, any Disney movie, right out of the question. Absolutely not. Not watching any Disney movie whatsoever. Makes things too sad. Now, scatter them wherever. Yeah, that is my list for you, and here's my list again. Pride and Prejudice all the way to any Disney movie, the unofficial number 11, so really uncut gems, but you know. Hopefully this helps you, inspire you to find something to watch. If you haven't watched any of these, I would definitely recommend watching any one of these. If you're looking for something to watch, this is a great time to try something new out. That's going to be it for today. Don't forget to wear your mask, wash your hands, and stay 6 feet away from strangers. Cool.